So this short video is about that nature holds the key for immortality and good health. And anti-aging science for now, it is based on deception. It is not science, it is a cult. Okay, let's go. As always, I recommend you to download the presentation as PDF file from the link in the description. This presentation does not have any links to the source of information. The extended version will be uploaded and will be available this week. I mean next week. No, this week, yes, sure. Okay, let's go. So the scientific history of genetics began with Gregor Mendel's work in the mid-19th century, which laid the foundation for experimental genetics. By the end of the 19th century, the critical role of long spindly structures, or so-called chromosomes, was established as the carriers of genetic information. In the 40s to 50s, the concept of genes and deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, began to emerge. The discovery of the double helix structure of DNA by Watson and Crick in 1953 revolutionized biology, allowing scientists to understand how genes work, including gene expression and protein biosynthesis. Techniques like DNA sequences and recombinant DNA technology emerged, enabling researchers to manipulate and analyze DNA. So it's again DNA, how we present it. Okay, it's with this picture was generated by AI, and it is awful, of course. Okay, let's go. In the second half of the 20th century, the molecular background of genetics became more understandable, making it possible to launch the Human Genome Project in 1999. And however, the Human Genome process faced challenges in translating research findings into tangible benefits in the short term. It also appeared that there are sequences in DNA that have no known biological function, this so-called junk DNA, which most organisms have substantial amount of. The so-called genetic junk turned out to be functional, as predicted by the intelligent design theory in the 90s. So this theory states that certain features of the universe and living beings are best explained by intelligent cause and the universal consciousness, opposite to chromosomal mutations and selection of the fetus according to the, or so-called natural selection according to the evolutionary theory. Okay, so this again, as I said, it started in 1990 and officially was announced the end of the Human Genome Project is 2003. Okay, was a lot of money was invested in this project, but again, the value of this project appeared not so high. So the nature of consciousness itself remains a major scientific and physiological mystery, with ongoing debates about its origin and relationship to the physical world. Some theories, like quantum theory of consciousness, propose that consciousness is a quantum phenomenon, like superposition and entanglement within the brain. This at least explains why brain works relatively good. I mean, because if to compare with computers, it is very slow, but it works sometimes amazingly. So this theory of quantum consciousness has been widely accepted by scientific community. So as for me, I have education in quantum chemistry and quantum physics, so for me it is absolutely natural, and during my education, especially postgraduate education, our teachers, our professors were talking a lot about philosophical connection of this quantum reality to human brain. Morphic resonance is another controversial theory or hypothesis proposed by biologist Rupert Sheldrake in the 80s. Often this is associated with the idea of collecting memory transferred across generation of organisms that influence the physical form and existence of living organisms. So it is again, it is quite many experimental evidences. There are quite many experimental evidences in favor of this theory, but again, it is not accepted. Okay, so this is just a picture about connection of the universe with brain, or with consciousness. So the early success in genetics spurred theories of aging by stating the role of genes in various aspects of aging process. Genetic variations in some genes have been shown to be associated with longevity in humans. The somatic mutation theory of aging proposed that aging is caused by accumulation of mutations in somatic, not non-sex cells over time, leading to a decline in cellular function and the development of age-related diseases. Also, the theory indicates that the potential for genetic manipulation to influence aging. Some studies indeed have shown that certain genetic mutations and manipulations also can extend lifespan of model organisms such as yeast, worm, and flies. Again, I am not against all this experimental fact, but it is the reality is much bigger than this. So it is, we are not described only by genes, and also these all living beings are much bigger than these machines. Okay, let's go. So genetic manipulations, particularly Yamanaka factors and mRNA vaccines, may have the potential to produce anti-aging effects by reverting cells to an induced pluripotent state. These genetic procedures could potentially reverse age-related changes in cells and tissues, extend the lifespan, improve health, and treat age-related diseases and conditions. This is what is dominating. This viewpoint is dominating. I don't support it. So, but again, it's a critics of this theory. It is, I believe, not necessary just because it doesn't work. However, nature demonstrates that radical lifespan extension can be achieved without genetic manipulations. The examples are long-living mammals, such as microbats and snake-mole rats, as well as queens of social insects. Therefore, the use of expensive treatments like stem cell therapy, hormone replacement, Yamanaka factors, and blood plasma infusion or expensive supplements will be a waste of money. But people do good business on it. So again, they propose some miracle cure or miracle procedure to regenerate your body, and many people, I mean, at least wealthy people, buy it with no effect or detrimental effect. Okay, so you know that I was talking a lot about these microbats and microbats and snake-mole rats and ant queens, and also some whales live quite long, and much longer than it was supposed for them to live. For example, snake-mole rats live almost 20-40 times longer than rats and mice of the compatible size. And again, why it is not genetical. It is not genetical. Also, it relates to microbats, and especially to these queens of insects, because queen of insects, they have absolutely the same genetics as working ants, but they live 50, even 100 times longer than working insects, working ants. It was stated that epigenetic modification, like DNA methylation and histone modifications, can influence gene expression and may play a role in aging and age-related diseases. This is so-called epigenetic theory of aging, also very much promoted and dominating in this area, in area of anti-aging science. Again, I don't support it. It is, again, I believe, good for business, but have no connection to reality. Nevertheless, epigenetic modifications accumulate in cells over time. This is so. Epigenetic clock, which includes DNA methylation and histone modification status, was proposed as a measure of aging in 2013. Measurements of epigenetic age with epigenetic clocks correlate to some degree, again, to some degree, with physiological markers of aging such as lung function, blood pressure, resting heartbeat rate, and the risk of all-cause mortality. So they have become popular tools for assessing biological age and its relation to health outcomes, and with prices from about $200 American for some kit available from internet to $1,000 American or more, depending on specific test and provider. Okay, but again, as you see here, it is a correlation between biological age measured with this chronology, epigenetic clock, and chronological age, and how they can define biological age with this. I don't understand. So the error in the measurements can be about 20 years. And I was talking about this before. So they arbitrarily plot some line like correlations and forget about these errors, possible errors. Okay, that again, it is women and men, okay, in different clocks. Also, if you measure epigenetic clocks in different tissues, the difference is huge, absolutely huge. Some clocks give very young age, estimation of biological age very young, some are higher, and okay, like this, and this is considered good estimation, but again, it's ridiculous. I would never rely on such experimental data to define the biological age. But okay, but people pay money. $200 American, the cheapest, but also they pay much more for some procedures which include measurements of epigenetic age. Okay, measurements with epigenetic clocks became a part of the global anti-aging industry with multi-billion-dollar market. So this again, this is huge market, huge. Major companies in anti-aging industry include cosmetic giants, pharmaceutical companies, and providers of medical procedures, cosmetic surgery, Botox and stem cells injections, skincare products, vitamins, and supplements. Specifically, epigenetic clocks are widely used to show efficiency of biological age reversal with the use of some expensive supplements and procedures such as blood plasma transfusion and stem cells therapy. So okay, but again, however, inconsistencies in measurements can arise from many factors such as tissue type, sample variability, oscillations with 24 hours periodicity, and specific clock used. Again, it is, to my opinion, not reliable. But okay, anyway, anti-aging market is growing about 5% a year. It's a lot, and already it's about 80 billion American dollars. So it's growing. People buy it. So byproduct is great business. So while epigenetic age acceleration can be associated with faster aging, so it is, yeah, in some sense, yeah, it is, but this association with other markers of aging is not certain. So you can measure rejuvenation, but other markers will show accelerated aging. For example, after 1 year of treatment with a combination of human growth hormone, DHEA, and metformin, considerable change in epigenetic age, it is 2.5 years after 1 year of treatment, was measured together with a considerable decrease in diastolic blood pressure. And this is for, I mean, at least me and other publications shows that this is a marker of accelerated aging. And I was talking about this in my video about Dr. Fahy. It's again, absolutely, but good business. People pay money and consume this injection, make injections of human growth hormone, DHA, it's metformin. I did it. I was following this protocol, but I discovered that my blood pressure is changing the same like it was in this trial, and I decided I'm aging. I have accelerated aging, not rejuvenation. So I gave up, and it is expensive. Human growth hormone injections are expensive. So measurements of blood pressure and heartbeat rate, along with respiration rate, lung volume, and body temperature are reliable and vital signs of health. In contrast to estimation of the biological age with epigenetic clock, they are inexpensive. You can do it, these measurements every day if you want. So respiration rate, again, heartbeat rate, blood pressure, body temperature, easy to measure at home. So reduced lung function is associated with increased mortality risk, cardiovascular diseases, and all-cause mortality. Spirometry measures how quickly and how much air a person can inhale and exhale, and the maximum lung capacity can potentially be used to estimate biological age. At least you can see it is aging or rejuvenating, so you can estimate it. Different persons have different lung capacity, but you can see the dynamics at least. However, spirometry is not widely considered as health marker and lifespan predictor. Intermittent hypoxia and intermittent hyperoxia training, and such training you can do it. It is like for freediving, for example. I was a freediving until now. I use sometimes it, not consistently, but it is good. It is good. Hyperventilation and holding breath. This is how it works. Hypoxia, hyperoxia training. So this ways it can trigger well-documented rejuvenation effect in humans. So it is very well known. Again, just use it. High-intensity interval training, sudden spurts during aerobic exercise, breath holding exercise, and free diving may potentially stimulate this intermittent hypoxia in humans and help in removing senescent cells, reducing chronic inflammation, improving cognitive abilities, and extending health span and longevity. So again, it is easy to do. And this is how lung volume, or so-called vital lung volume, is changing over time, so different for different people. So, and it gets about 20 years or 22 years, it gets to its maximum, and then go down, and it actually shows your rate of aging. It can be normal aging or below normal, and early decline, blah, blah, blah. So again, but in my age of 18, maybe 20, at 18, I know for sure, my lung capacity was 6.2 liters, and now it is 5.3, so I see some reduction, but it is yet not so bad, not so bad. It is not dropping over time, thanks to my exercises, aerobic exercises. Okay. So the conventional scientific view, grounded in materialism, again, materialism never was proven by experiments. It is absolutely wrong, but yet it is again very much promoted, and all science now, I mean, so-called established science, which is not science but cult, in my opinion. So it is often treats living beings as biological machines, robot programmed by DNA, which serves as a set of digital instructions and codes. According to this approach, the human genome, with its approximately 23,000 genes, defines how the body functions. When genetic errors or epigenetic changes accumulate over time, the common assumption is that these effects can be corrected to restore or enhance the body machine-like performance. However, this reductionist view overlooks the fact that humans are not isolated systems. We are deeply embedded in our environment and we are part of complex ecological systems. For example, our immune system is significantly shaped by viral infections and vaccines, which are weakened, normal weakened forms of viruses. And the viral genome can become a part of our DNA and can lead to long-term consequences. If you think that the vaccines are healthy, so I made a vaccine 6 months ago, until now I cannot recover. This inflammation continues. So I don't know, I recovering slowly, but again, it maybe take 6 months or even years or longer. So better stay away, especially elderly people cannot use vaccines. Vaccines only produce decline in health. Okay, this is how viruses work, maybe, just some picture, pardon. So in addition, insights from quantum physics challenge the simplistic view of humans as mere biomechanical machines, and phenomena such as wave function collapse, where observations alter the state of a quantum object, suggests that consciousness is not separate from physical reality, but instead it is deeply entangled with it. And again, you have to learn quantum physics. It is experiments, it is proven by experiments. And it shows that we are special beings, special, and our mind, our consciousness can do miracles. So this opens the door to a more holistic view of health, one where consciousness itself might influence physiological processes. The placebo effect, for instance, could be considered as manifestation of the power of consciousness belief to affect the body. This perspective calls for a shift in how we approach health and longevity. True science is based on the freedom of speech and reproducible verification of ideas and hypotheses through experiments. Reproducible, again, verification. Without these principles, science becomes and turns into a cult. This is what we see. Science is dead. I got my PhD in physics and mathematics in year 1983, and in my opinion, end of 80s, the science was almost all dead. It became a cult. And then this materialistic viewpoint dominates in science, and it is not supported by quantum physics. And quantum physics does not develop. People don't invest money in it. So you cannot be a scientist, and you cannot earn for living if you work in quantum physics, unfortunately. And I believe it is very, very important to invest into quantum physics, but it is not going. Instead, we have this promises of miracle cure, which people buy for billions of American dollars, so but which never work. So again, our influence that quantum reality, quantum objects, they collapse. Wave function, we say wave function of this object collapse, and we have material objects. This is how it works. You see, this material object, material object, like everything what we see, and including ourselves, we live in a little bit different reality. We live in the material world, and it is separate from quantum world. Quantum world is much bigger. If we have 3 dimensions plus time, the quantum world has normally 11 dimensions. 11 dimensions. This is this is what theoreticians use in their calculations. They use 11 dimensions for calculating, and in the string theory, or so-called membrane theory of forces, and they try to understand the nature of gravity, electromagnetic forces, etc. And yet again, not much success, because we just don't pay money, don't support it. Instead, we have this materialistic viewpoint on science, on living beings, which are absolutely wrong. Okay. Our health and aging are influenced not only by our genes, but also by the vast genetic pool of the microbiomes that reside on us, on skin and gut. For example, the gut and skin microbiomes collectively contain over 3 billion genes, and we have 230,000 genes, so it is absolutely huge difference in number of genes. And so the interaction of these microbiomes with our bodies directly affect immune function, inflammation, digestion, and longevity. Gut health in particular is shaped by diet, prebiotic intake, physical activity, and in some cases the careful use of antibiotics. Waste products such as lipofuscin in long-living cells, oxidized lipids, and toxins in the deposit tissue can be removed by immune cells with microbial enzymes in the lysosomes, as I demonstrated in 2018. So it works. I mean, at least for me and few participants of my project. It worked quite well. So, and I continue to work. It is not yet many results, but I work on the development of microbial enzymes to break down cross-links between proteins and sugars and to improve elasticity of skin and inner organs. This would be already may have some commercial potential. For now, it is even again, despite high mortality from cardiovascular diseases, and I proposed a cure, and I didn't get any support from government or universities. They just ignore it. So, but again, it works. I mean, at least in small trial it works, and I was asking money for make clinical trials. Nobody is interested. Okay, this is how we see the microbiome. So, again, you see why I do this presentation, because again, to show that what anti-aging science is proposed, it is deception. It is based on lies. So if you have too much money, okay, no problem. You can waste your money and use them as you want. But again, if we want to live longer and healthy lives, we must not only care about our bodies, but also about the ecological systems that sustain us. Practices such as industrial monoculture farming, excessive use of pesticides and herbicides, the destruction of biodiversity, the destruction of the biodiversity degrades the systems and harm both the planet and our bodies. These practices pollute our food supply, compromise soil health, and increase our exposure to toxic compounds. In my view, the human purpose is not simply to survive, but to protect and sustain life on Earth, and over time to spread life to other planets and maybe to distant stars. We are not just biochemical robots, we are stewards and guardians of sustainable life, and we are conscious participants in a larger interconnected universe and so we can live according to our purpose. This is what I propose. We have huge, amazing future, but people prefer to go materialism and this liberalism, communistic ideas, which are destroying our civilization. So this is how people spray some insecticides and herbicides. For example, Roundup, very well known herbicide, and it is very toxic for our body, but it is everywhere. If you consume this monocrops or even grains, you get a lot of toxins. So, therefore, the pursuit of health should not rely on hope for a magical pill or costly treatment. Real lasting health improvement and radical life extension require a system-based holistic approach. And again, this is what I'm working on. My goal is to develop an affordable step-by-step health protocol that extends health span and promotes radical longevity even for poor people in developing countries. The first step is to abandon expensive, often ineffective supplements and treatments in favor of practical lifestyle changes. Regular monitoring of vital things, vital signs such as blood pressure, heart rate, lung capacity, temperature can help track the effectiveness of any health intervention. This simple, low-cost metrics offer valuable feedback and support a personalized approach to optimize health and extending longevity. So I believe that we have to change the way how we produce food, and to go to sustainable agriculture. And again, what I propose is very much to save environment. So this is some sustainable farming, which are keeping cows or other ruminants with birds, here in particular chicken. And I did it, but without cows, but I was keeping birds. I was keeping ducks and geese and chicken both for meat and eggs, and it is easy. It is easy, guys. It is easy, and the best quality of food you can get for yourself, and even you can have you can distribute among your relatives, and even sell, have some income for this. It's a way to live. So, to understand necessary changes in the diet, consider the fact that even breastfed infants do not absorb all protein in their mother milk. This is very important, okay? Because if everything would be absorbed, the infants would not defecate. Because if everything is absorbed, and protein and lactose and whatever else the fat is in the mother milk, if everything is used, there is no defecation. But yet we have a lot of bacteria growing in the gut, and these bacteria mostly consume lactose, but also the protein. And lactose in milk acts as prebiotic, supporting healthy gut flora and reducing transit time to 8-12 hours, which helps to prevent accumulation of pathogens. So there are some pathogens, but because of this large amount of lactose in milk, it is a little bit suppressed. So not quite good suppressed. Okay, so in elderly individuals, protein digestion efficiency can drop to as low as 10%, leaving excess protein, not digested protein, in the gut for harmful bacteria to convert into toxins. What is happening? These pathogens not only produce toxins, but also they slow down gut transit time, and they make this leaky gut syndrome and all autoimmune diseases. So it is a big part of aging is that we cannot digest proteins. However, reducing protein intake in older age can lead to sarcopenia, so loss of muscle mass, and increase the risk of bone fractures. So the cooking method can improve protein digestibility, and also increasing prebiotic consumption can enhance gut health and shorten the gut transit time, of course, and overall health in our bodies. This also amino acids can be included in the diet because they can be absorbed already in thin intestine. So it's again, but carefully, okay, also carefully. I was talking about this many times. So this is what people do. Not necessarily. This is source with the technique to cook meat and fish, and not in water, but you can use convection oven, as I use convection oven with aluminum foil, or maybe some layer of fat above the meat, so it works. It's quite easy. Of course, it takes time, but it's with thermostat you just turn on, and in about 12 or longer, you get your meal. You get your meal, and you can keep this cooked meal in the refrigerator and heat it up before consumption. So up to it is delicious. Actually, I would say it is absolutely delicious. But even so, if you consume a lot of meat and fish cooked with sauce with the technique, you need prebiotics. You need prebiotics to accelerate time, to accelerate the gut transit time. Okay, so it is okay. That's all what I want to say. You see it goes in steps, and again it is affordable. It's actually reduce the price. I mean the cost of food. And it is maybe somebody will say, okay, you have to extend cooking to 12 hours or maybe a day, but it's just working. Just turn on the thermostat, make temperature between 57 and 33. I make normally about 32, and turn on, and it just works. It just works itself. No need to run about it and change temperature, or it's just so simple cooking. And when it is ready, you can eat it. Yeah. Okay. So that's all. I hope you got some new information, and more extended version of this presentation will be uploaded as another video. you can watch, you can get access to the source of information, but you see the idea. In opposite to materialistic viewpoint, I see we have connection to the outer world, not only to ecosystems, but also to all the universe. And our goal, our purpose is to spread life in the whole universe. But we cannot do it now. But again, if you will continue this working along this and accept this materialistic viewpoint and this what World Economic Forum proposed, it is a proposal to reduce population and turn humans into slaves without any brain abilities. This is what they do, because they believe that in future they can survive. They want to be in power, you see. But again, hopefully it will not happen, because Americans elected President Trump, and also Elon Musk and other people who participate in the team of the POTUS. They do great job. They do great job. It is a big hope. Europe is not yet. It is yet sleeping, and it is collapsing. It is destroying own culture. It is destroying everything. And if people will sleep and will continue, and will allow this communists and leftists to be in power, then there will be no Europe soon. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your time.